Hello, everybody, and welcome to Comic Core Daily. I'm your host, Drew Manchu, and I'm running solo today. Today, we have some somber news to start off with, and that's going to be our lead story. But before we get into that, we also have some good news as well. Some fantastic stuff that I found on the internet, not exactly Instagram this time around. And I'm going to be counting down the top 5 books that I missed last year. We also have a really great question of the day today. And we're going to stop and do some commercial breaks in the middle of things. So, guys, get ready. We're going to go ahead and start things off with Nerd News. Guys, late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, the comic book industry, the art industry, lost one of its greats, Mort Drucker, who was one of the top caricaturists for Mad Magazine. Drucker was also a recipient of the National Cartoonist Society's Reuben Award and the Special Feature Award, as well as being a member of their Hall of Fame. His iconic work is seen all throughout Mad Magazine, Time Magazine, all kinds of political cartoons throughout the years. Some of the most famous images that he's responsible for include Batman and Robin, as well as his movie posters for Bad News Bears and also for American Graffiti as well. George Lucas called him the Leonardo da Vinci of comic satire. He worked for national periodicals, which became DC Comics, also held jobs as a freelancer at Dell and Atlas, contributed to many children's books as well as album covers and movie posters. Mort Drucker will be severely missed. He was 91 years old, and no, there were no corona implications in his death. Just 90 years old. Some would say gone too soon, but he lived a full life, and he gave us more than we could ever hope for in the form of his art. This touching tweet from Mad Magazine pretty much says it all. Rest in peace, Mort Drucker, whose caricatures revealed as much as they ridiculed. In your memory, we will continue to satirize, even in dark times, and laugh like idiots while doing it. Rest in peace, Mort Drucker. Now, we also have some positive news coming out of the world of comic books. It's sad that we lost Mort Drucker, but in these times, there are plenty of artists who are reaching out and giving back. And one of those artists is Jim Lee. Jim Lee has teamed up with BINC, which is the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. Their link is in the description below. They're supporting the publishers and the LCSs in this time of need. And for 60 days straight, we're going to get a daily sketch from Jim Lee, which he's auctioning off. And some of these sketches I'm going to show you right now. They're just absolutely phenomenal. Got this big Barda right here, Jim Lee sketch. Dr. Fate, as well as Azrael. And this killer Batman Who Laughs, which went for over $11,000. Jim, in just a short period of time, has raised almost $70,000 for BINC. So make sure if you got some extra money in your pockets and you're a Jim Lee fan, head over to BINC and check them out and figure out how you get your hands on one of these Jim Lee sketches. But make sure you got deep pockets because these things, they are going for an absolute mint. I've got no problems with that. It's a real big charitable organization. It's a big money for charity. And if you got the money to spend, go ahead and spend it, folks. Not only is Jim Lee going to be auctioning these sketches off, but there's also a lot of other artists out there that are auctioning things off for charity, including Bueller's favorite, Rob Liefeld, who auctioned off this Deadpool and Harley sketch that he did in full color. He also shared a Bane that he did that was a commission for one Freddie Prinze Jr. So all these artists out there are trying their best to support this industry, and we need to give them some kudos. I'm going to go ahead and check in with the chat for the first time today. Thank you so much for joining me. Got 19 watching live. Comics Misexplained was in the chat. No Good Comics is in here as well. Rob Boswell. He said Mort died. Yeah, Mort did die. He was one of the greats. Perry's Comics was in here as well. He says, screw you, John. John says, he. So we got some beef in the chat right now. Some John Perry beef. It's good to have a little bit of drama. Superhero reviews. Good to see you in here, buddy. Gomer is in here as well. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, he said, guys, Art and Mad was like my comic book teething ring. When I think of Mad Magazine, the image that pops into my head is Alfred E. Newman, but it's Alfred E. Newman drawn by Mort. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that I think of when I think of Mad, and that was very formative for me in my childhood. Old Wolf is in here as well. Oh, my phone's ringing. We're going to have to ignore that. Probably spam. Gore Vidal said he didn't know Drucker had died. He was a brilliant satirist. I agree. Man, you had those Mads from the 70s and 80s. Those are some beautiful pieces of periodical history, to be sure. He was in the great tradition of Mark Twain. I definitely agree with that there. Jason Hannon, good to see you, buddy. Hanging out on Facebook. Guys, we got a lot to get into today, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. Shout out to KS and Comics, good friend of the show. Good to see you on here as well. Now, next, I'm going to do my segment that I call Cool Stuff on Instagram, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Before we move on to that segment, I didn't find this on Instagram. I found this on Facebook, and it was actually from Twitter. So you can check out the gentleman's Twitter. It's SDC _ Mr. Jazz with 3 Z's, and that's in the description below. So let's go ahead and talk about. Now, guys, I've had a lot of free time on my hands due to this whole quarantine shelter in place situation. I'm out of work at the moment. I've been doing a daily show on the Comic Core, plus showing up on nighttime streams as well, and active in the chat throughout the community. And I've been playing also a lot of Call of Duty, a couple of video games thrown in there as well. But you know what? I haven't been as productive as SDC Mr. Jazz, because he got some cardboard and he started crafting. And he started crafting. Then he started crafting. And he ended up with a Megatron made out of cardboard that completely transforms into its tank form. That's right. Megatron made out of cardboard. Look at the size of this thing. I've never seen something so impressive in the world of papercraft or cardboard sculpture. This guy is beyond origami master here. This is the coolest transformer thing I've ever seen. It's also the coolest cardboard thing I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. I cannot believe that somebody took the time to make this. And I'm going to go back to that other picture real quick here, just to show you this was the level of detail he was putting into the face, and just the way that it came out, man. Man, this is the coolest thing I've seen in a very long time. If you guys are on Twitter, go ahead and follow SDC _ Mr. Jazz and let him know the Comic Core and Drew Manchu sent you. All right, gang. I'm going to check into that chat one more time here. John wants to talk about the world of papercraft. I'm not sure if it's a thing, but I just said. This explains his strange pick for a sex doll, but he's not one to judge. You're going to get a paper cut, man. You're going to get a paper cut, and that's not going to work out. All right, gang, on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with you in just a moment after these messages to let you know what we've got going on the Comic Core. Hey, Comic Core viewers. Do you want a free mystery box of comics? Well, that's good because we're having a giveaway. It's super easy to enter. Just leave a comment on any Comic Core Daily video answering the question of the day. Want extra entries? Well, you can vote in the Modern Men poll each week and leave a comment explaining your choice. This giveaway is open only to U.S. residents 18 and up, and you must be subscribed to the Comic Core. We'll compile all the entries and spin the wheel on the Friday, April 24th episode of Comic Core Roundtable, and you must be in the chat to win. Printed rules and instructions will be found in the description of this video. Good luck and happy commenting. MainFrameComicCon, April 25th and 26th, an absolutely free 2-day online interactive con experience that you can enjoy right from the comfort and safety of your own home. Celebrity guest interviews, comic industry professionals, cosplay contests, and so much more. Check out the website at MainFrameComicCon.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at MainFrameComicCon for our ever-growing list of guests and emerging schedule of events. That's April 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday, 2 days, absolutely free. MainFrameComicCon. We're bringing the convention to you.
This is Andy.
Excitement's building.
This is Thursday.
I'm nervous. Breathe with me, guys.
And this is Andy on Thursday. That's right, we gave Andy his own show.
No way. No way.
Yes way, Andy.
Holy sheet.
Holy sheet indeed. Andy Given Thursday. Live every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on the Comic Core.
And we're back. Thank you so much for bearing with those commercials, but from the applause of the studio audience, I know that it wasn't much work for you at all, and you were all very entertained. Now, before I move on to my next segment, which is our countdown segment of the day, I just want to give one more shout out to MainFrameComicCon. If you guys have not subbed Mainframe up yet on Instagram, make sure you do that. All the information and everything that's going to be coming out about our schedule will be found there. You can also go to MainFrameComicCon.com. I know Miss Explained was kind enough to drop that link in the chat. Just click it and go there. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a whole lot of content for you guys. We had a big meeting last night, and there's going to be all kinds of stuff all day long for you guys to enjoy. It's going to be the best of the con experience that we can possibly offer you in a virtual space. So be sure to check that out. Now we're moving on to my countdown segment. And today I want to talk about the top 5 comics that I missed. And this topic came up when I was looking at a list of the best comics of last year. So, and then I went to a third list and a fourth list, and I checked out about 6 lists of like the top 20 comics of 2019. And these are some options that I missed along the way that now that we're not getting regular comic releases, I plan on going back and checking out. This is Countdown. The White Trees, number 5. This right here is a book that I didn't even know came out. It's a story of 3 warriors who, after they've lived a life of war, come back together to hunt down their kidnapped children. And why am I so excited to check this out? Well, not only is the art Chris Anka, which is really cool and highly detailed, but it's written by Chip frickin' Zdarsky. And I haven't read a Chip Zdarsky story ever that I did not appreciate. He did a great job on Jughead. His Howard the Duck is phenomenal. I love his Fantastic Four and X-Men, and his work on Marvel 2-in-1 and Daredevil has been some of the best in the last decade. I really want to check out The White Trees, and that's going on my to-read list based on the art and Chip Zdarsky. I can't wait to check this out and see how good it is. Anybody in the chat who's read White Trees, let me know what you think about it, or leave a comment down below. Number 4, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yes, that's right. Tom Taylor wrote another Spider-Man story this year that ran alongside Amazing. I picked up the number 1. I found it quaint and relatable, but then I stopped after that and I stopped picking it up. This book made so many best of 2019 lists that now I need to go back and reread the entire first volume at least. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man has gotten a lot of press. Tom Taylor is a writer that I enjoy, and I remember the art was pretty good in the first issue. And there was this Aunt May has cancer thing going on in the back end, and I'm excited to go back and check it out and see what kind of pathos we get from that story. I enjoy Spider-Man, and this one's going on the list. Number 3, These Savage Shores. This one was on absolutely every best of 2019 list that I looked at. I looked like 6 of them. It was on every single one. And I remember hearing that this Vault Comics treasure was good when it came out and kind of hard to find for a lot of people. I saw some of the promotion for the art in this, and it's just absolutely nuts. And the story is about different cultures, monsters fighting each other. I don't even really know what it's about, but it's on all these lists. The art is amazing, and I can't wait to crack this open and see where I'm at on it. I actually have the first volume, I believe, digitally. I'm not 100% sure, but I got to look through my digital comics and see if I bought this. I think it was on sale, but These Savage Shores, I really want to check it out, and if it's not in my library, it will be soon. Anybody out there read These Savage Shores? I want to know if anybody had the opportunity to check it out. Chaos and Comics says he missed it. Very cool and violent issue 2, though. There you go. I'm excited to check it out. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to number 2. Number 2 is one that I'm very hesitant even to talk about, but I know a lot of people in the community have liked it. And, you know, I'm kind of poo-poo DC all the time, but I'm going to go back and check out Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. This is Matt Fraction writing this story, and I hear fantastic things about it. The way that DC takes itself too serious sometimes, I think that this is the right kind of book for me to enjoy. And I haven't heard a bad review. This showed up on a lot of the best of 2019 lists. So I'm excited to give it an open-minded try. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, was a book back in the day that before it was folded into Superman Family. I don't really have many of those issues. I do enjoy the Superman Family stuff with Jimmy Olsen. So maybe this is a character and a take on the DC universe that I will enjoy upon further inspection. And the number one book that I missed. This gets a lot of love in the community, and I don't know why I never gave it a shot. I absolutely love the creative team on this book, and that's Criminal by Brubaker and Phillips. Their work on The Fade Out was some of my favorite stuff of a couple of years ago. I love the noir feel to it, and I hear that Criminal also has some comedy in it as well. Seems like the kind of book that I would want to check out. I don't know why I skipped this when it hit the shelves. And I don't know why hearing about how great it was for 2 or 3 issues from everybody in the community didn't pique my interest and get me on this book earlier. But Criminal is one that made a ton of lists. And out of all of these books, grabbed my attention more than any other. Brubaker and Phillips, the beautiful cover art. I haven't gotten into the interior of the book yet. But man, I am super excited to check out Criminal. Anybody in the chat have a chance to check out Criminal? I think that I've heard great things from about everybody on this. No Good says heard Criminal was great. Gomer says Criminal is great. Got to trust that guy. Gore Vidal says Ed Brubaker is the Elmore Leonard of comics. If I knew who Elmore Leonard was, I might get your comment there, Gore, but I'm going to have to give that one on the old Google. Wish Brubaker would write a Slam Bradley book. That's actually a good idea. And he says, Criminal is must read through volume 2. Thank you, Chaos in Comics. I will definitely do that. Great legends heard of Pocan Joe. Well, I guess that's the way it goes. Criminal is Gore's favorite. There you go. And Chumcast says, are you counting Harleen as a 2019 book? Yeah, I would count that as a 2019 book, but I read Harleen as it came out. So, yeah, it's not one I missed. This is, this just, I looked at some lists. I was bored last night. I was like, let's Google some topics. We'll see what the news is and what we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow. And then I found out that Mort died. And then I tried to cheer myself up by looking at some best of lists, trying to find some things that I missed. And I was like, you know what? I can make a top 5 out of this. I can make a top 5 out of anything. So this is what I made my top 5 out of, guys. That was Countdown. Thank you so much for hanging out for that. Now we've got one last segment, folks. One last segment. And I know I'm not vamping as much as I normally do. I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of today. My guest canceled at the last minute, but he's the boss, so I guess I got to kind of let him get away with it. But we got a question of the day today, and it gives us plenty of time to get into this. And I've got a really great answer as well for myself. Let's go. What was your first comic book memory? Now, this can either be your first memory of superheroes or the first comic that you bought yourself, or, the first comic book based property that you enjoyed if you're younger and maybe you saw Iron Man and that was the first thing you saw, or Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and that was your first foray into comics. For me, I remember vividly, like my family moved homes out to the suburbs when I was just after kindergarten, before first grade. But I remember vividly being on the floor of the old bedroom down in Baltimore, where I shared the bedroom with my older brother. And I remember being on the rug in the middle of the bedroom with an old plastic record player, playing a record that came with a Spider-Man book. That's probably my most vivid memory. And it played the theme song from the 60s Spider-Man. Spider-Man. And I tell you, we wore that record out. And I remember wearing it out when I was like 5-6 years old. I remember that vividly. I also remember around the same time, my father had a Superman action figure and a Clark Kent action figure. They were like cereal box mail-aways. I remember those vividly. Now, as far as the first comic book that I ever bought for myself, I've talked about this a couple times recently on Modern Men on this show as well. It was Uncanny X-Men 300, a John Romita Jr. cover, sparkly silver X's behind it. I remember that book vividly as well. I just saw it. I just knew those characters, and I just had to have it. I had to read it, and I had to know more about what was going on. So that was the first book that I ever bought myself. Guys, I want to know from you guys, what were your favorite and first comic book memories? Let's see here. We're going to check in with the chat here. Chaos says, buying Gambit's first appearance at a 7-Eleven. Years later, realizing it was important. That's awesome, man. Buying a Hulk 181 reprint off a spinner rack at a Circle K near my grandparents' house. That's a great story, John. Reading old House of Mystery comics at the barber shop. He's talking early 70s. That's awesome. I wish I had early 70s comics memories. Scott Evans says Adam West Batman. I bet Adam West Batman is for a lot of kids, a lot of people, because when I was little, that was definitely, that played on the Playroom TV, where I remember that Spider-Man record. I remember that. Adam West Batman. I remember it was in syndication, so it's a same bat time, same bat channel, and then you could never find out when it was on because that's the way TV used to be. You didn't be able to, press a button and figure out what's coming on in the next hour. See, anybody else got good ones going on here? Everyone going crazy with the death of Superman. Mike Sanchez, I remember that as well as a kid. That was really cool. Phil Ailing says ASM 130 and wonder why Spider-Man needs a Spidey mobile. My grandparents also had old maid card game with Marvel cards. Doom was the maid. Have you bought a set off eBay? That sounds amazing. I would love to play Old Maid. Gore Vidal says he thinks his earliest comic was Caliman, a popular Mexican comic. That's pretty cool, man. Death of Superman was one of his first comics as a kid, says Miss Explained. I think that's one of the ones that was just so widespread that somebody had to have gotten you a copy of The Death of Superman. There's so many of them. Everybody had one at some point. Comics and Chaos wants to get back to the crazy sex scene in White Trees. Haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to talk about it. Magoo Fitzfarder's having an aneurysm and he's screaming, "The Flash is the greatest superhero ever, hands down!" All right, Magoo, settle down, bro. Backseat Driver says Secret Empire 0 Free Comic Book Day 2017. We've had this talk. Secret Empire is not one of Backseat Driver's favorites, but this is a fantastic 0 issue and a really great way to bring people into an event. It was the first time Cap held up Thor's hammer in the comics, right? I think. I don't know. Maybe not. But he does. TK Batcave. Good to see you, bud. We are talking right now about your first comic book memory or the first comic book that you bought. Cat Ren Figures. What's up, homie? First comic she had was Sailor Moon. I know a lot of people got started in manga and moved from anime to manga and then from manga to Western comics. It's really a cool path to take. I don't know. I never got into manga. I can't read things backwards. TK has a channel. I don't know if he's got a channel, but he's in the chat for sure. Gore says one can't underestimate the cultural impact of Superman with Chris Reeves. It was amazing to see that film in the theater. Man, I can't imagine not knowing superhero cinema. That's like the first time since the serials that superheroes were done on the big screen. That's got to be mind-blowing. Scott Evans says his first real comic was X-Men 133. That's a good one. Transformers 5, says Gomer. That explains a lot. Gomer loves himself some TF. It's so great that we're going down memory lane and talking about some of our favorite memories. Backseat Driver says Thor 390 is the first time he picks up Mjolnir. Yeah, that's true. But not when he's evil. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out and talking with me today. If you guys have the time, reload this video when it comes back up on the replay and answer the question in the comments below, and you'll get entered into the giveaway. Giving away a whole giant priority mailbox stuffed full of random ass comics. Going to be some good stuff in there. It's going to be absolutely free. We'll do that drawing on the 24th. Right before MainFrameComicCon. You also want to vote in the Modern Men poll and comment as to why for an extra extra 5 entries every week. That poll is closed at the moment, but if you comment on it, hey, I'll go ahead and give you the entries. That's fine. God Country won, so we're going to be reading God Country Monday night on Modern Men. If you guys haven't read God Country yet, get your hands on God Country. Read it this weekend, and then come see us Monday night. I guarantee you're going to have a good time. Me, JB, Comic Man Andy, who's got his own show on Thursdays, went off great last night, and Carson, we're going to be hanging out and talking God Country. We're also going to get another topic that we're going to go over as well. It's the greatest book club that you're ever going to see on YouTube. It's fantastic. C. Woodard finally got a pick that doesn't suck. That ruins my, last week I guess I didn't win either. So I only have a 5-win streak, but I'm also in the lead for all picks so far on the poll. Because I've got great taste, folks. Got great taste. I'm going to go ahead and start closing this out now, guys. Be sure to check us out tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Comic Core for Roundtable. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we're going to have a good time. It's going to be really cool. Second Best Book Club is John's show. Yeah, John shouted out his own show, Second Best Book Club. Chaos, that comment was for John. We do the best book club. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Anybody else wants to do a book club? Awesome. I want more people reading books in the community, but you're not going to touch Modern Men, bro. You're not going to touch us. We might not have the most views. We might not be the prettiest, but our content is the best. So start your own book club and try to compete. Chaos and Comics says God Country was so-so. It was so great. I don't know. I haven't read it again yet. I'm going to read it again probably today, and then start formulating my opinions on it after a fresh read. So I suggest that everybody, you guys aren't even modern. We are modern. We're the most modern. I'm just saying, gang. Read God Country. Come join us for a discussion. It'll be a good time. Thank you guys so much for coming back and seeing me again today. Before I start those credits, I'm going to go ahead and start with a moment of silence. Everybody bow your head in reverence. Send some thoughts and prayers to the family of the late, great Mort Drucker. Hey gang, make sure you hit that subscription button there. Give this video a thumbs up. And make sure you hit that notification bell. Always going live. And check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.